Yes, so my name is Sjoerd Walinga. It's for, well, if you're not Dutch, I can imagine it's a kind of hard name. So, Sjoerd Walinga, I'm working at an agency. It's named Concept 7, and we are located in Groningen, the Netherlands. So, Concept 7 is an agency that helps clients with their digital strategy. And within this company, I help our clients in the field of usability, user experience, and conversion optimization. And that's also why I am one of the authors of this syllabus, because I am, well, quite familiar in the field. I'm also applying my knowledge for over 10 years because of the growing field and the growing experts. We found it's a great step to make a syllabus to make it more measurable. Who are the real professionals and what may companies expect from us within this field of usability and user experience? UX stands for User Experience Design. And we have this saying from one of the most important brains after the Brown products, the electronics. And he says design is made for people. So, yeah, without understanding the person who you create this product for, you can't really design something for them. So that's where user experience is all about. You create something for a person, and that person has to have this great experience using a product that is simple and gives satisfaction in the moments when you use it.
We've been used to, like, there's still development of software without it, right? So
Yeah.
what is the contribution?
You could call it risks. If you create products, services, or software that are very technically, then people have a hard time in understanding how the product should be used. And also, when they want to use the product and it's hard, then they have to think a lot, and they're made this emotion of disgust in using this software, and that's what we call risk. And you don't want to demotivate people in using your software. You want to create this feeling that they enjoy using your products.
Mm-hmm.
So the advantages is when a product is easy to use, you don't have to explain them a lot, and people are able to fulfill their goals in a very short time. When someone must use the product because it's software within the company you work for, or it's governmental software and it's hard to use, then people are really, really, really frustrated in using your software. So that leads also to a lot of complaints for your employer or to the government or what company you have.
Mm.
But the more danger zone is when people do have the choice whether they want to use your software or not. So a very simple example is e-commerce shops. If you want to buy shoes and you have found this pair of shoes, but you are able to buy these at 3 different suppliers, then, well, of course, a little bit you look to the price. But if a shoe by supplier A is a little more expensive than supplier B, but the website and their whole user experience is way more fun, then you will buy at this supplier. So, and that's where it's all about, because if people have to choose where they buy at you or at a competitor who has a way more and more satisfying user experience, they will buy at the competitor. I don't know how many years ago, but I love to read the Harvard Business Reviews. So these ABR website, I really love to keep up with newest developments in all these fields. And one of these is user experience. And I found this very interesting study from Eric von Hippel. And he wrote an article that was called an emerging hotbed of user-centered innovation. And what he was saying within his paper was that research showed that 70% to 80% of a product development that fails does not so for lack of advanced technology, but because of a failure in understanding users their needs. So that's also very interesting in my opinion. So you can have this fantastic idea, you can have this fantastic technology, but if you do not understand what people really need and you can't make your product usable, then your product, your software, or maybe your whole company will fail. And that's why it's so important.
What would be the difference between UX and UI?
Yeah, UI is only a component of the whole user experience. So you have to, you could compare it with your home. If you have your home, there are all kinds of UI elements. A user interface is like the couch, the television, dining table, the kitchen, etc. But if you combine all these UI elements, user interface, that all total makes it your home. And home, you cannot create your home. Home is a feeling. Coming home, if you like to come home, that's a feeling. And this feeling is in the digital world, we call it user experience. So if you make the combination of the right elements, you create a great experience for your customers and clients.
Well, what is the basic UX toolkit?
Okay, so this is kind a, I do have my own observations, but I have also all this feedback from all these people who are already following courses of me within this field. And what is hard in their opinion. So if I create a little context, and we have a lot of people that have a background from their college in this field, but they had so much information gained in their during college that they can have a job in everything. And when they have this interest created in user experience, it's hard for them to oversee the whole. So where does UX start and where does it end? And to also within this revert to this syllabus, we give these professionals, but also professionals who have been, well, over time transformed through graphical designer, and now 10 years later they are user experience designer. With this syllabus, we give them everything they need to know to start from A to Z. And in basics, if I have to make it very flat, I would say if you want to start with user experience, then start with usability, because it's one element of the whole user experience. And it's the most easy to learn and the most easy to apply. Okay. Because when you have this usability, you have this so-called heuristics of Nielsen and Norman, and it feels like some kind of checklist. And that's something you can really immediately apply to your own software to check if it looks like it's usable or not.
Okay, I think that's a really good advice, to be honest. It's like there's two ways. You can start with the whole thing and you have A to C, but you can also, like, if you really want the beginner level, usability is your...
Exactly. And that's what I am also charmed about within the training we provide is you get the most important information you need to start or to give everything a place in your head, and you also learn how to apply the most important toolings within this field, like applying a heuristic evaluation, but also how to do usability testing. And one of these critical skills in this is how to ask the right questions to people to reveal their deepest needs. And so we provide you the most basic tool set you need as a professional.
Sometimes people don't know what they want. So that's why it's important to...
Yeah. Fun thing is, and that's also one of the things you will learn in our course, is what people say is mostly not what they do. And what people do is mostly not what they say. So we help you to give all this tooling in how to reveal what people really try to tell you. So what are their deepest needs? They did not even know from themselves it was a need.
What is the most heated debate in the UX field?
Well, one of the most heated debates, in my opinion, I hear a lot is it's expensive to apply any form of user experience, but it's not. To be exactly with approximately $0, you can already start. Also in usability testing, what is also something a lot of people think that's expensive, but it's not. It's way more easier than most people think, and sometimes I do still hear people that they do not believe in the advantages of user experience. So yeah, some people think, mostly people, for example, with a technical background, they think that how a system performs is way more important than if it's usable.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, it's yin and yang. It's those two. But to be honest, if I ask the people this question, what's the latest thing you have used and why have you used it? And if I reveal whether people like to use the product, service, or software, if they say, yeah, I liked it, they have a reason. They have already used other products, but they did not like it. It was hard to use, for example. Or they hated it to use it, but they use it because they don't have another choice. So no matter what your background is, it's always coming to the same point. People choose things that make their lives easier and not all these features. They only use features that help them make their life easier.
In your opinion, does UX has a future?
UX has a very, very, very big future. I'm also giving talks about this, and it's growing exponential. There are quite a lot of numbers findable from different sources. They do not all agree in the same numbers, but in the speed in which the field grows, they do all agree, doubling every year.
Okay.
And it's also, back in the day, we were happy having internet. Only to have internet in your home was a relief. But now it's a standard. People that are born these days, they don't know how it was without the internet. So the standards of our well-being, of all the people in the world, they get higher and higher. And also how more competitors will be in this for you as a client, how harder for you it will be to compete with all these new fast, technology-driven companies who understand the importance of user experience. So because of these technical developments, as a company, you can't ignore it anymore. And on the other hand, these people, well, it's the new standards we expect. So it will only grow.
So assuming that it's going to grow because the numbers show, and I agree with your logic, because like we mentioned in the beginning, people don't want the slow one, not even slow, like a not intuitive one, like it just doesn't work, or just a blank page, like it just doesn't work anymore.
No.
Can this work? Can UX be automatized or replaced by AI, or is there still important things for a UX designer to do that can't be replaceable?
Well, AI will help user experience as it does in all other fields. Artificial intelligence is actually quite stupid. Give it the wrong information and it will do calculations on this wrong information. So there will be always a human needed that is turning the buttons, for example. So this artificial intelligence, it will help making work easier for user experience designers. And yes, things will be automated, just as it goes in factories, for example. Back in the days, people had to pick all these boxes with products. Nowadays, it's done by machines. But still, you need people, and that's because artificial intelligence cannot replace human intelligence. To apply this user experience, human intelligence is needed. There are a lot of things that can't be replaced by artificial intelligence.
In that flow, what do you would consider to be the biggest advantage to take this course and not other?
The biggest advantage, in my opinion, is, as you were saying, this field is kind of new. And what we see in the field is these days there are coming more and more new professionals. And we also see in this field that companies are struggling with keeping up to date. So these newest technologies, all these new things in the field, and keep up with all these developments, it's hard for them. And they do understand these days they need UX designers, but sometimes in their eyes, these UX designers are still graphic designers, are researchers, are people who do something with the internet. The problem that I see these days is that we have a lot of professionals, but these new professionals having a hard time in how professional am I compared to all the other professionals? Because the one professional is not this ambitious as some others. And some of these people who say they are a professional are actually, well, in my opinion, not a professional. So that's a struggle for everyone who has a background in this field, but does not really being seen as a professional. And on the other side, we have these companies who have difficulties in selecting who's the real professional, because there is not this kind of checklist, or there is not really documentation about what you may expect from a user experience designer.
Or a standard, right?
Exactly. So it makes it hard for both parties into what you may expect from each other, and how do you know the profession is a real professional, and but also from the professional, what are the expectations from this organization I might work for. So we're really closing the gap with the syllabus and examination.
We know who this course is for. right? So you said about someone that has this as a background or is interested into this and wants to be a professional, who you consider that this course isn't for?
Who it isn't for? That's maybe this is a harder question than explain for who does is this. This course is for everyone who has nothing or has no interest in creating products for people. Yeah, actually that is because this course is to bring other words for who this course is. This course is for everyone who thinks user experience is important, or setting this human in the center of a design process. Well, if you think it's not important to set humans in the center of a design process, then you should not follow this course. And of course, it could also be that you're a back-end developer who only has the job to make sure things work, then this course is also not for you.
Okay. I really like the answer of like, if you don't put people in the center, this is not for you.
Yeah, if it's user experience design, and the most important process is human-centered design. So if you are not human-centered or you don't care about people that use a product you create, then you should not follow this course.